This is the Investor Connect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of this show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today, we're here with Donatas Keras, founder and partner at Practica Capital. Founded in 2011, Practica Capital is a dedicated Baltic VC focusing on investments in the Baltic, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Baltic origin ventures in Europe. Selectively, they also invest in neighboring Europe, Nordics, Germany, Poland, and they invest 200,000 to 2 million euro in seed and early stage ventures as a cross-industrial investor focused on backing great teams behind the tech-driven businesses from the region. Donatas, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Great. So what was your background before investing in early stage companies?
Actually, before Practica, I was an entrepreneur myself. I have a couple of successful stories, small-scale exits, and also have a couple of bankruptcies behind my back. So I know what it means to start a company. I know what is be successful, and I also know how hard is that. So I've been doing all different kinds of businesses, owning from restaurant to forest business, some tech companies. So that's a lot, and some interesting stuff also.
Great. So what excites you right now?
Of course, it's being in the Baltics, where we have 6 million people and 7 unicorns, and having the most unicorns per capita. I'm excited to chase another unicorn in the region, right? So this is my daily job, what I do. But being more serious, of course. So our stage is picking up in the Baltics, and this is exactly what excites me every morning, because I see the development of ecosystem. I see more and more interesting companies coming up and more experienced entrepreneurs starting new stuff. So this is exactly great thing for me.
Oh, great. So you see a lot of startups and you see a lot of investors in the early stage. What's your advice for people investing in startups in the early stage? What do you tell them to do before they write that first check?
Maybe I'm going to joke again here, but go out with a founder, have at least a cup of coffee. But that you could do before a pandemic, right? Right now, you have just to talk with people. So I spend time talking with people, and I suggest that, this is important. Not only documents, not only, background checks, not only the due diligence with legal stuff and everything, but just sincere dialogue, looking into their eyes. That's usually helps a lot to answer a lot of questions.
Well, great. And then on the other side of that equation, what's your advice for people running startups? What do you tell them to do before they go raise funding?
Be sincere, be prepared, and don't be afraid to say, I don't know. I haven't thought about that, right? That's also good. I hate when people start to, just to pretend and invent answers at the table, then you clearly know that we don't know, right? So this is very noticeable, actually.
Great. And so let's talk about, investing in early stage. How do you see the industry evolving? There's now crowdfunding and there's different fund models and so forth. But where do you think the venture capital industry is going?
It's a golden age for entrepreneurs wanting to raise money, right? So much capital. I see a lot of evolutions, right? Starting with funds who are making bets purely on data and, AI-based algorithms and things like that. And we see the crowdfunding and crowd investing into startups, which is very active in Europe right now. And, we see companies being funded by crowd, which I would probably never invest, right? But no, you never know. You never know who is right. So it's evolving. It's evolving in different directions. And, the probably power from selected VCs are shifting to much, much wider audience. And, even bigger family offices or smaller family offices who usually been just investing in kind of stable assets suddenly turn into this tech industry, into more risky stuff, and shuffle waters a little bit, if you can say like that. So it's becoming more democratized widely, and it's good stuff for entrepreneurs. It's good stuff for long-term VCs or guys who want to do that longer term and become professional, and especially specialize in some verticals into geographies. But it's best for entrepreneurs because so much more capital. Of course, as always, it depends. You have to choose carefully whose money you're taking because of different reasons. But still, it's good. Democratization of this is good in my opinion, and that's exactly what I see happening in VC industry.
And what do you think is the biggest change we'll see in, say, the next 5 years? Where do you think it might end up there?
I still believe that, we're going to see the growth of crowdfunding platforms and different approaches to that. And we might even see Robin Hood type of platforms, investing not only in very with stocks or listed companies, but maybe doing something similar in startups. So secondary markets for startups might pick up. It's clear. I also think that the technology gonna change the way of VC work, and especially in the bigger companies, bigger firms, not boutique companies like us, but technology is going to be kind of more part of the job. And I think we're going to lose Excel at the end of the day for many things what we do right now, and just going to rely on technology more, which is a good thing, I believe.
Great. Well, let's talk about your investment thesis. What is it, and what is your criteria for selecting an investment to make?
All right. So first of all, we are limited in geography. We chose quite small region. No more than 30 million people live there, and our home market is just 6 million people, Baltics. So we have no luxury to be specific on verticals. So we kind of look into all tech-related early-stage companies. Our thesis is quite simple. We believe that team or people behind the business is most important, and we look into and we hope to find the world-class entrepreneurs and just back their bold ideas. So it can be anything from sometimes even computational biology up to consumer B2C brand for dog food, for example, right? Or ending up with space technology. So we believe that next unicorn can be born in any angle of our globe, and why not in Baltics, right? And we have good examples of that. So this is the idea, and of course, then it comes execution, and we believe that proven execution is very important for entrepreneurs, and it can be not only just good exit, because it's quite scarce in the Baltics, but all other things what the guys done in the past, done it good, with passion, with dedication. It's good enough as a proof for us to partner with the entrepreneur and help him to succeed.
Great. Can you talk about one or two startups that fit that thesis, perhaps a portfolio company?
Yeah, probably it's question. I don't even know which one to choose, but probably I'm going to choose the latest ones, right? Just to be not the picky one. So one company is actually a Finnish company, which is working new space technology, and the guys are working on propulsion for nano satellites. And I believe that their thesis or their vision to become the go-to provider of maneuvering in space or deorbiting in space for all things move in space is great. It's big, and I think they're picking up the growing market, the new huge growing market, and they have all the know-how you need to build a product and all the ambition you need to become the leaders in this. So I'm very happy we kind of partnered with the guys and led the seed round. So that's one. And the second one, probably a company in the Baltics, which is exactly in between of computational biology and wet biology. And these guys are creating proteins in lab, which is a huge market. And the young guys, young crowd, spin-off of university. However, the ability, what we've done, what we proved us, and how we continue to build the company and the products, it's just amazing. Actually, just to prove today, the science magazine journal Nature published the article about them. So I feel very, very great about the company and about the young guys from Lithuania, edge of Europe, just doing this amazing stuff and frontiering the computational biology.
Great. And so let's talk about the challenges in the startup space today. What do you see as the major challenge the startups face when they launch their business?
So it's, it can be many things when you're starting a business, but, probably 95% of failures, it's startups themselves, right? We cannot overcome some issues with the company, with the team, or a product, or being too early or too late. Something, specifically, sometimes I see it now that companies just raise 2 big rounds because of the money in abundance. You can raise that, right? You have this competing with investors. So sometimes they are attracted to this too much, and getting too big rounds and spending too much money, not thinking about the real value and efficiency, right? So this is probably in some geographies, let's say in Silicon Valley, it should be this way, but other geographies across the globe, sometimes you just need to be more careful in this. This is not a problem; it's a good problem to have. Too much money is a good problem to have, but probably as very, very global problem is talent, of course, and matching the right talent and retaining the talent in the companies, because good companies and star engineers are jumping ship sometimes very fast. Every year a new company, and it's an issue. And when you have 25 team of engineers, and you have to rely on the product, and suddenly half the team is leaving for a new star in the region, tech startup. It's not good. But it's probably part of the job right now. Younger people are more mobile. They want to move and not to stay too long. But probably again, this is not specific to startups. It's just specific to a business in general, and we have to adapt to that.
And then what are the challenges the investor faces these days?
Of course, you cannot meet the company, right? It's I've done these last 2 deals without meeting a real person, just over the talk as I'm doing it with you. It's a challenge, but it's an opportunity. Actually, I believe I made more work in the last year sitting at home locked down than ever before. But of course, it was quite hard. So. But I believe it's temporary, right? I believe VC adopted and investors adopted quite well to the situation. And, starting last year in Feb, I was, already scared how we're going to do the job, how we're going to continue. But, just month passed and all worries are gone. I know that we're going to continue. And probably that last year was record globally for new investments, in my opinion, in many senses. So these challenges are gone, but not gone, but we found the way to overcome that. Let's see, what's going on with the public markets and how it's going to influence the VC markets, right, and private equity markets. It's interesting, is it a bubble or not? It's a question, and I have my opinion, but probably not going to share it here about that. But it might be some effect, whatever it's going to go, right, up or down, or going to stay stable. But generally, I think it's for VCs, it's also a very good period. More entrepreneurs coming from different angles of the world, and the story or dream of becoming successful tech entrepreneur is really picking up in different regions, and that gives you a variety of companies and variety of business models to choose from and to put your money at work.
Great. Well, you see a lot of different sectors and applications out there. If you had to pick one or two to put at the top of the list as good opportunities today for investors, what would you select?
So probably I would say that biology 2.0 and artificial intelligence, and between these two, between two disciplines, everything in between is a new frontier in a way, because personalized medicine and everything what is connected to that, longevity and many things, it's something where we're breaking frontiers right now, in my opinion. And I believe many new, greatly valued and very successful companies going to be coming from this. I also believe that sustainability, new ways of mobility, also is bringing some new stuff into the life, and I like the space a lot. And probably the last, which it might not be new, but the new wave of e-commerce, different type of e-commerce, including shopitainment type of element, including the 10 minutes delivery at your door, the new concept of e-commerce and delivery, or combination of that's creating right now. This is the hottest right now, and it's creating a lot of new interesting companies and concepts right now. We'll see how long it's going to take, or how sustainable this company is going to be, but currently it looks like there is a shift in e-commerce, not just adopting e-commerce, but new models of e-commerce coming into the play. So that's the first thing.
Well, great. Well, in the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
Just one thing I want to say, that, Baltics is the region I'm in. And of course, I tend to like it more than all the other regions. But in reality, we still need more investors in the region, especially in a bit later stage, A, B, C round. So all the fellow investors who are listening, if you would like to come and take a look, and maybe to use the still a bit lower valuations than in States or in Israel or in London sometimes, but the great quality of companies' products and very passionate people. I encourage you to just give a shout or take a look into things what are happening in the Baltics.
Great. Well, how best for listeners to get back in touch with you?
Email, of course, is the best, and simple as that. LinkedIn also works.
Great. We'll put that in the show notes. Want to thank you for joining us today and hope to have you back for a follow-up soon.
Thank you very much. It was good talk.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Paul T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early-stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.